Islam motivate you a bit more than most, like any other champ?
I'm motivated, I'm self-motivated, and I for sure want to crack at that belt. I for sure want to crack at that 70-pound belt to go for the Triple Crown.
You could either fight Conor in the octagon or his team versus your team.
Team versus team. It's gonna be more interesting because already Khabib beat him in the cage, beat his corner, beat Conor, beat his team, all team again. It's gonna be fine.
I hate Paddy. The words ripped through the MMA world, not from a rival champion, but from the #1 contender, Armen Tarokian. He couldn't stand the thought of Paddy Pimblett wishing anyone else was facing Justin Gaethje for the interim title. The animosity was palpable, so intense that Sarukian joked he wouldn't even attend the fight, fearing he might confront Pimblett face to face. He even threatened a real Armenian slap, a chilling promise of a brutal, unprovoked attack that would leave a mark far deeper than any octagon punch. This wasn't just a rivalry, it was raw, personal hatred unleashed. What sparked such a volcanic outburst?
Does Islam motivate you a bit more than most, like any other champ?
I'm motivated, I'm self-motivated, and I for sure want to crack at that belt. I for sure want to crack at that 70-pound belt to go for the Triple Crown.
And what a fight that would be, you and Islam. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it, after all these years?
Good fight. Good scrap. Southpaw. It was a good performance out of him, and fair play to him. He had the courage to do it, to go up. So, yeah, only excited for it. Let's see what happens. Let's get back in the mix.
Why such venom? Because Armen Tarokian believes Paddy Pimblett earned his upcoming interim title shot based purely on star power, not actual accomplishments. His massive fan base and marketability, combined with the UFC's promotional interests, created a calculated business move, not a merit-based decision. This blatant disregard for true contender status fueled Armen's fire, igniting a deep-seated frustration over what he felt was a disservice to the sport. The stage was set for a showdown, but the real battles were already being fought outside the cage.
I don't know, Kamaru won the fight for the belt, you know. Also, Kamaru and Makhachev, they have the same manager. So, let's see how it's going to work. But also, he's number 9 on the rank. But also, he's the GOAT of the welterweight division, so...
Nah, come on, wait, first of all, he ain't no GOAT of the welter. What, have you heard of a guy named George St. Pierre?
I know that guy, but I prefer Kamaru.
Nah, come on, Carlo. I like you, Carlo. It would be okay if Kamaru gets the title shot against Islam next.
Of course, no. I would be sad because I won the title shot against.
Yeah. Do you think he is deserving, though? As you say, he's the GOAT. In your opinion, do you think he is deserving?
No, I don't think he's deserved. But also, like I said, he's the GOAT. For me, he's the GOAT.
Renato Moicano echoed this sentiment, expressing sheer disbelief that Pimblett secured a title opportunity without ever beating a single top 15 fighter. He highlighted Pimblett's recent wins against opponents with multiple losses, questioning how victories over Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, and Bobby Green, all carrying significant loss records, could possibly justify such a pivotal title shot. Moicano was adamant this was easy fucking money being handed to someone, a decision that felt profoundly unfair and undermined the integrity of the rankings.
But yeah, like for me, when I look at it, I'm like, there's no way Ian gets it next. I don't think so. Well, first of all, the least deserving of it is Kamaru Usman. Brother, like, I don't know how they're finagling this shit, like trying to push him into the
cahoots.
Huh?
Between him and Islam?
Yeah,
like mutual friendship. Like let's get
mutual
you paid.
friendship, same manager. Like I understand what they're trying to do, but that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I personally, obviously, he beat me. I think Morales is the most deserving out of everybody.
He's undefeated.
Undefeated, 19-0, just beat me. I was the #1 contender, beats me. Number 2 would be, I think Prates is right there. I think he would deserve it more. Shavkat doesn't deserve a title shot.
He got to get back in the race.
He's got to get back in the
Moicano further slammed the situation, labeling the upcoming interim title fight a paper champ scenario. He argued that with Ilia Topuria as the rightful champion and his temporary absence due to personal issues, creating an interim belt felt entirely pointless. The division's true progression, he felt, was being undermined by these perceived shortcuts. To Moicano, the whole premise lacked sense, as the winner would simply face Topuria anyway, making the interim title a hollow prize for a fighter undeserving of the immediate opportunity.
Bro, something like that. Everyone's got to be in the race. He's just sitting on the sideline.
Adding to the chorus of criticism, Ariel Helwani vehemently attacked the Gacy vs. Pimblett interim title fight, branding it a makeshift bout. He compared its prestige to a BMF-style fight, emphasizing that no interim belt was truly necessary since Ilia Topuria already held the championship. Helwani questioned why Armen Tarakian, the clear #1 contender, was being completely bypassed for such a pivotal opportunity, calling the decision insane and a disservice to the division's integrity. Helwani couldn't fathom what more Armen Tarakian had to do to earn his shot. He pointed out that Armen had waited patiently, worked incredibly hard, and then delivered a decisive ground finish against Dan Hooker. This dominant performance, unlike some other top fighters who failed to finish on the ground, should have cemented his next title opportunity, yet he remained sidelined. The question lingered: what exactly was the UFC's criteria for a title shot if not consistent, high-level performance and patience? The veteran journalist went even further, expressing utter disbelief that such a controversial matchup was actually headlining a major card. To him, placing Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett in an interim title slot, with the winner facing Ilia Topuria, was not just insane, but a ridiculous choice for a main event, especially when more deserving contenders were being overlooked. This decision, Helwani argued, highlighted a fundamental flaw in the UFC's matchmaking philosophy, prioritizing spectacle over legitimate sporting progression. Meanwhile, the MMA world was still reeling from Conor McGregor's audacious announcement he wants to challenge Islam Makhachev for the 70-pound welterweight title in his highly anticipated return. McGregor, aiming for a triple crown, emphasized his desire for a good scrap and to chase another belt in a different division. This bold declaration immediately ignited massive hype, signaling a comeback that promised to be as controversial as it was captivating, reigniting old rivalries and divisions. The McGregor-Makhachev matchup instantly creates massive intrigue, not just due to McGregor's immense star power, but also because of the lingering shadow of his legendary rivalry with Khabib Nurmagomedov. A fighter who once battled one of MMA's most dominant grapplers is now eyeing Khabib's protege, Islam, for his next big test, making it a truly personal clash. The echoes of past grudges and the anticipation of a fresh chapter in a generational rivalry promise an explosive return. Islam Makhachev, however, made his feelings brutally clear. He holds the same deep animosity toward Conor McGregor that Khabib Nurmagomedov once did, openly doubting McGregor would ever step back into the octagon. Islam scoffed, emphasizing McGregor isn't even welcome in Dagestan, declaring him too much drunk, too much marijuana, and too far too gone. His words were a stark, uncompromising rejection, setting a defiant tone for any potential future encounter and adding layers of personal tension. McGregor himself briefly floated the idea of a team versus team fight as an alternative, suggesting it might be more interesting than a direct octagon clash. This concept stemmed from the past, acknowledging that his team had been beat in the cage, beat his corner, beat Conor, beat his team, all team again. The lingering bitterness from previous encounters, particularly his loss to Khabib, clearly influences his strategic thinking, perhaps aiming for a different kind of redemption. While the McGregor drama unfolds, Islam Makhachev is actively seeking his next opponent. Kamaru Usman has been touted as a top choice, with Islam himself expressing interest in that matchup. However, not everyone in the division agrees that Usman deserves the opportunity, leading to significant debate among fighters and analysts alike. The welterweight division remains a hotbed of contention, with multiple contenders vying for their shot at the reigning champion. Ian Gary, for one, outright rejected the idea of Islam fighting Kamaru Usman, branding Usman irrelevant. Gary pointed out Usman's dismal record of only one win since 2021, unequivocally calling any discussion of him in title contention bollocks. He argued Usman was nowhere near the top and the last one down the list, deserving a shot, slamming the very notion of his name being in the title conversation. Despite the criticism, Kamaru Usman had his own thoughts on who deserved the title opportunity, surprisingly advocating for Carlos Prates. Usman praised Prates' attitude, the hunger to compete, the excitement to fight, and the willingness to come right back even after a loss, believing this mindset is precisely what the UFC values. He also credited Michael Morales as impressive, but highlighted Prates as the one who truly stood out with the championship spirit. Carlos Prates, in turn, called Kamaru Usman the welterweight GOAT, yet still didn't believe Usman should be next in line for the title, while acknowledging Usman's long reign and the potential UFC consideration due to shared management with Belal Muhammad. Prates, currently ranked 9th, admitted he'd be disappointed if Usman got the shot, feeling he'd earned it himself. The respect was there, but the competitive drive overshadowed loyalty. Sean Brady, a fellow fighter, was equally critical considering Kamaru Usman the least deserving contender. He openly slammed the UFC's perceived finagling or push to give Usman a title shot, highlighting the mutual friendship and shared manager between Usman and Islam. Brady called it bullshit, arguing it was unfair to other deserving contenders who had put in more work and achieved higher rankings through merit. Brady, who recently suffered a loss to Michael Morales, strongly believed Morales was the most deserving due to his undefeated 19-0 record and recent win over Brady himself, who was the #1 contender. He ranked Prates as #2, while suggesting Shavkat Rakhmonov, despite his talent, needed to get back in the race after sitting on the sidelines. His perspective was clear. The title shot should be earned, not given through connections. Ali Abdelaziz, Islam Makhachev's manager, revealed that the UFC indeed explored options for Islam to face either Kamaru Usman or Ian Machado Gary for their debut event on Paramount at UFC 324. Islam briefly considered the January 28th main event slot, but decided against such a quick turnaround, confirming that both Usman and Gary were seriously discussed as potential opponents. This insider information confirmed the UFC's strategic efforts to secure the biggest possible matchups. Sean O'Malley, however, fully supported the UFC's decision to headline Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett over a potential Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes bout. He argued there was no debate, stating that if fans globally could only watch one, the overwhelming choice would be Gaethje versus Pimblett, underscoring its significant market appeal. O'Malley believed the UFC made the right business decision, tapping into the fights the global audience truly wanted to see. Tony Ferguson offered a surprising take on the interim fight, picking Paddy Pimblett to beat Justin Gaethje. His reasoning: he felt Gaethje had lost interest in chasing another interim belt, carrying the weight of past title frustrations. Ferguson believed Pimblett, hungry for his first major opportunity, would have the fresher mindset and emotional edge, leaning towards the younger contender to seize the moment, despite wishing both fighters the best in their upcoming clash. Sean O'Malley also reacted with sympathy to rumors surrounding Ilia Topuria's divorce, acknowledging the immense difficulty of going through such personal issues publicly, especially with children involved. He felt genuinely bad for Topuria, recognizing how challenging it would be to focus on a fight camp amidst such upheaval, potentially explaining his absence from the octagon. The personal struggles of a champion can often cast a long shadow over their professional ambitions. Renato Moicano, in a controversial statement, even laid some blame on Armen Tezarukhan himself, suggesting Armen picked up the division by missing his bout with Islam Makhachev earlier. Moicano argued that if that fight had happened, the lightweight division could have moved forward more smoothly, preventing the current paper champ situation. This perspective introduced a complex layer of accountability, highlighting how one decision can ripple through an entire division. The MMA landscape stands fragmented, riddled with personal vendettas, strategic bypasses, and endless debates over what truly constitutes a deserving title shot. From McGregor's audacious callouts and Islam's brutal rejections, to Armen's seething hatred for Pimblett and the relentless contention over Islam's next opponent, the sport's chaotic narrative is fueled by star power, calculated business decisions, and deeply personal rivalries. This unpredictable blend ensures that merit often clashes with marketability, promising a tumultuous yet undeniably compelling future for the sport.